Well, good afternoon, all of you. So let's get started with today's class. I'm just going to revise what we had in the couple of slides of the previous class and then move on to today's class. Properties of triangles, we had discussed that in the previous class. A triangle can be named using its vertices. We can use a triangle symbol, or we can write triangle in front of the triangle to name a triangle. So this particular triangle can be called as triangle ABC, or triangle ABC with a triangle as a symbol. That was the first thing that we saw. Then we saw how to classify triangles based on its sides and angles. We had three ways that we could classify based on sides. That is scalene triangle, where none of the sides are equal. All of these sides are of different length. That's when we have a scalene triangle. Then we saw an isosceles triangle, where these two sides are equal with two hashed lines, and this is of a different length. Scalene triangle scalene triangle has none of the sides equal. Isosceles triangle has a pair of sides equal or two sides to be equal. Equilateral triangle, it's a triangle where all the three sides are equal. Then further we saw what is an acute triangle. Acute triangle is a triangle where all the angles that you see are less than 90 degrees. All these angle A, B, C, all these angles are less than 90 degrees. A right triangle is a triangle where one of the angle is right angle. So you see a right angle here. If there is one of the angle that is a right angle, then we call it as a right triangle. A triangle with one obtuse angle is called as the obtuse triangle. If one of the angle in triangle is your obtuse angle, one of the angle in triangle is obtuse angle, then we have a obtuse triangle. A triangle with all three congruent angles. A triangle with all three congruent angles is called as the equiangular triangle. Equiangular triangle is also going to be equilateral. Always the equiangular triangle is going to be equilateral, and same way equilateral triangle is going to be equiangular. So let's see further today. This is a proof of exterior angle theorem. We will see what is exterior angle theorem in the next slide, where it says that the exterior angle to a triangle is going to be sum of non-adjacent interior. So it's the sum of these two angles. Okay, the angle that you see here, angle DAB, is going to be sum of angle ABC plus BCA. That's what we are trying to prove here. So let me do the proof of this particular theorem. Statements on the left and reasons on the right. So first list what is given. ABC is a triangle. That is given. Then from figure I have these two angles as linear pair. Angle DAB and angle BAC are linear pairs. So I can say this as second step. Using linear pair postulate, I can say measure of angle DAB plus measure of angle BAC equals 180 degrees. That's by linear pair postulate. Okay, now we are trying to get this particular term. So what I'll do is To get that term from left side and right side, I need to subtract angle BAC, measure of angle BAC. So I'll just do that. Measure of angle DAB will be equal to 180 degrees minus measure of angle BAC. Okay. Now we got this left hand term. Let's see how to get these terms. We can involve this term by triangle sum theorem. Triangle sum theorem says that the sum of angles in triangle is 180 degrees. So we can use all the three angles and say it's 180 degrees. Measure of angle BAC plus measure of angle ABC plus measure of angle ACB equals 180 degrees. This is from triangle sum theorem. I am trying to get ABC and ACB. I am trying to get ABC and ACB together. So I will subtract BAC from both the sides of the fourth equation, fourth statement. Subtracting BAC from fourth statement, I'll have measure of angle ABC plus measure of angle ACB equals 180 degrees minus measure of angle BAC. Okay, here I had not written the reason. It was subtraction property for the third step, right? Subtraction property. Same way here also it's the subtraction property. Subtraction property of equality. If you want to subtraction property. Now further we can compare these two statements. I have ABC ACB equals 180 degree minus measure of angle BAC, and here also I have angle DAB as 180 degree minus measure of angle BAC. I can use substitution property and get the final step of the proof, that is measure of angle DAB equals measure of angle ABC plus measure of angle ACB. This was by substitution property. Okay, this is your exterior angle theorem. Let's see the next slide. Already we had seen triangle sum theorem in our before classes. Sum of angles in triangle is 180 degree. That's your triangle sum theorem which we used in the previous proof. And the proof of the exterior angle theorem was done in the previous slide, where we said the measure of an exterior angle is equal to the sum of the measure of non-adjacent interior. Measure of the exterior equals sum of non-adjacent interior. This is your adjacent. These two are non-adjacent interior of the triangle. That's your exterior angle theorem. Okay, I hope I'm clear. So let's see the next slide. Well, I want you all to classify these triangles. I will reveal my answers in a while. So go ahead, use your chat and classify these 4 triangles. You can classify using either sides or angles. We had learnt 7 different ways at the starting of the class: scalene, isosceles, equilateral, equiangular, right triangle, obtuse triangle, and acute triangle. Use those and classify them. Label 1, 2, 3, 4 and write your answers. I'll check your answers in a while. So this is going to be scalene triangle, as all the 3 sides are of different length. So we'll just call it a scalene triangle. Based on angles, all these 3 angles are less than 90 degrees, so I can call this as acute triangle. And this is also going to be scalene triangle. This will end up being scalene triangle, which we will discuss later. As of now, I'm just going to tell based on whatever we see. And this is going to be your isosceles triangle. This is your right triangle. Okay, I'll do the first one for you and I'll ask you to work on this one. We want to classify this particular triangle and solve for x on the first one, and on the second one we want to classify the triangle and solve for n. Okay, I'll do the first one, you can work second one. So to classify, it's simple. It's a right triangle, as we see a right angle, so I can classify it as a right triangle. And to solve for x, sum of angles in triangle is 180 degrees, so I can use triangle sum theorem and have 2x plus x plus 6 plus 3x plus 6 equals 180 degrees. So further, take all the variables together. 2x plus x is 3x, 3x plus 3x is 6x, and this is going to be 6 plus 6, which is 12, equals 180. Subtract 12 from both sides to get 6x equals 168. And dividing by 6 on both sides, I get x equals 168 divided by 6, which is nothing but 28. So I have x equals 28 for this particular triangle. Okay, use your chat and classify this triangle and also solve for n. So here the triangle is isosceles triangle. And to solve for n, as it's isosceles, this side is also going to be 3n plus 8. Okay, and we can further solve this as 3n plus 8 plus 3n plus 8 plus 2n plus 4. So add all of the n's. 3n plus 2n is 5n, 5n plus 3n is 8n. So I'll have 8n plus, add all the constants. 8 plus 8 is 16, 16 plus 4 is 20, equals perimeter is nothing but 84. Subtract 20, you will get 8n equals 64. Dividing by 8, I get n equals 8. Okay, based on side we had, it was a isosceles triangle, right? We will check based on angle as well. So if this is 8, I can also classify based on angle. 8 times 9 is 72 degrees. If this is 72 degrees, this angle is also going to be 72 degrees. Okay, because it's corresponding to the same side. Okay, these two sides are equal, so these two angles also will be equal. We will see those properties later. And this angle is also going to be less than 90 degrees, because 144 is sum of these two angles. So angle C is also less than 90. So this will be acute triangle as well, isosceles triangle as well as the acute triangle. Isosceles and acute triangle. Okay, let's see the next slide. Okay, that was our first section of the next unit. We will see the next section, that is congruent polygons. We saw properties of triangle, now we are seeing congruent polygons. We say two polygons are congruent if they have exactly the same size and shape. They should have same size and shape. What does that mean? It means that if you could trace a polygon onto a piece of patty paper, then move the patty paper so that the two figures lined up exactly on the top of each other, then they are congruent. In two congruent figure, all parts of the figure are congruent and corresponding parts of the other figure. They are going to be congruent with the corresponding parts of the other figure. So if I were to say these two quadrilaterals are congruent, I should find 4 corresponding angles which are congruent. I should find 4 corresponding sides which are congruent. I should find 4 sides and 4 angles which are congruent. Then we can say these two quadrilaterals are congruent. So here I'll just list out all the corresponding parts that are congruent. So I have, and you can see that if I place I onto D and H onto C, and if I tilt this particular figure, you will see that it will align exactly onto this. Okay, let's list out all the corresponding parts. So first I have angle C, I'm just using one letter, is congruent to angle H. Then angle D, which is congruent to angle I. Angle E is congruent to angle J. And finally I have angle F congruent to angle K. These are the 4 corresponding angles that are congruent. Now sides, I have DC, which is congruent to, with one hash line I have HI. Then I have ED, congruent to, with 2 hash lines I have IJ. Then FE, congruent to 3 hash lines I have JK. And the last side, that is with 4 hash line FC, is congruent to HK. Okay, these are the corresponding parts that they are corresponding parts of the quadrilaterals that are congruent. Now if I were to give a statement where these two quadrilaterals are congruent, if I have to give these statements such that the statement to say that these two quadrilaterals are congruent, I will have to list out the quadrilateral vertices. So I'll just say in short form for quadrilateral quad, the vertices I can start from anywhere. I'll just start with CDEF. CDEF is going to be congruent to quadrilateral. This is your final statement. Corresponding to C, with one hash line I have H, so I should write H first. Then corresponding to D with two arc lines is I, and J angle corresponds to E, and K corresponds to F. So quadrilateral CDEF is congruent to quadrilateral HIJK. I cannot interchange this. I can't write quadrilateral CDEF is congruent to quadrilateral HJKI. I can't write that way. That becomes wrong. But if I change order here, and once again if I change the match the order exactly, then that works. This is not the only correct answer. I could have said DEFC. Then I should have written here IJKH. Just the corresponding congruent angles and the sides should match up when you write the statement. Okay, we will see a few examples in the next slide for triangles that will help us to understand to write the triangle statement. Let's see the next slide. Okay, I'll do the first one, then I'll give you a chance to work on this. These two triangles are congruent. They already told us that these two triangles are congruent. Identify the corresponding parts and write a congruent statement about the two triangles. Identify the corresponding parts. So if two triangles are congruent, you should find three angles and three sides and then a triangle statement. So three angles. So angle A is congruent to angle O. That is straightforward. Then angle R is congruent to between one hash line and no hash line. Between one hash line and no hash line is your V. So angle R is congruent to angle V. Then finally I have angle C, which is congruent to two hash line and no hash line is where angle C is located. Two hash line and no hash line, angle S is the corresponding angle. So these three have congruent if the two triangles are congruent, and also we have to list out the three sides. They are AR, though they have not given all the corresponding congruent sides here, but they have mentioned here, so therefore we can write these two. Okay, but they have not pictorially given angle R is congruent to angle V, nor they have not given angle C is congruent to angle S. So AR is congruent to VO, that's your first side. The second side, CA and SO, these two were given, but this one we can conclude based on triangles are congruent. CR is congruent to VS. Now coming to triangle statement, you can write any way. I'll just start with ARC. Triangle ARC. This triangle is going to be congruent to triangle. Corresponding to A, I have O here. Corresponding to R, I have V. And corresponding to C, I have S. Triangle OVS. This is your triangle congruent statement. Okay. Repeat same thing for this particular problem over here below. I want you all to give the triangle congruent statement. I will list out all of its angles and sides that are congruent. These are the three angles that are congruent, and sides we have if you have your answers, use chat. We can pick up anywhere. So I have TGK triangle TGK is going to be congruent to corresponding to T. I have H, and corresponding to G I have G itself. Corresponding to K I have K itself, HGK. Okay, this will be our triangle statement. This is not the only one, we will have others as well, but they should match up. So let's see the next slide. Oh, there is one more on this slide, so just give the triangle statement here as well and identify the corresponding parts. So I'll write the corresponding parts, you give the triangle statement. So I've written down the three congruent angles, and I've also written down the three congruent sides here. So use your chat and tell me the congruent statement. That's right, I see few answers. Let's check them. I have triangle. The simplest one will be VWY congruent to TZX, because VWY TZX corresponding. Okay, this is one of the statements to say that these two triangles are congruent. Let's see the next slide. Okay, in this diagram we have WXY is congruent to QPY. Use this information to find X and Y. I'll do the first one and then you can do the other two. I have W congruent to Q, W congruent to Q. So angle W is congruent to angle Q, and here I don't have the value of W. Let's find the angle W. If this is 56, this is 90 degrees, I can use triangle sum theorem and find this angle as 180 degrees minus 56 minus 90. 90 minus 56, this will be 34 degrees. So angle W is 34 degrees equals Q, which is 5x plus y. Okay, let's see the next. We have X equals P, angle X and P. So I can compare 56 degrees equals 4x plus 2y. These are two equations, two unknowns. I don't have to get to the last part. Y is common, which is 90 degrees. You don't have to compare them. These two I can compare. These are two equations, two unknowns, and I have to solve for x and y. What I'll do is I'll subtract 5x. I'll use substitution technique. Subtract 5x from both sides to get y equals 34 minus 5x. So substitute that y equals 34 minus 5x in this particular equation. So I'll have 56 equals 4x plus 2 times of 34 minus 5x. 2 times 34 is 68 minus 10x, and here I have 4x. Okay, 4x minus 10x will give us negative 6x plus 68 equals 56. Subtract 68 from both sides to give us negative 12 equals negative 6x. Dividing by negative 6 on both sides, I get x equals positive 2, because negative negative will get crossed out. You are dividing by negative 6, so you'll get x equals positive 2 for the first one. So you had x equals 2, and to find value of y, substitute here. 34 minus 5 times 2 is 10, so you'll have y equals 24. Okay, I'll give you some time to complete this particular problem. Next one, it's the same type. Use your chat once you have answers. I'm just going to give you like 30 to 40 seconds. It's much more simpler than the previous one. So here once again I have to compare the angles. I don't need to compare F and A, they don't have anything. So let's see E and B. Angle E and B are equal, so I can say 2y minus 3 equals 129 degrees, as angle E equals angle B. And from C equals D, I can say that half x plus 1 equals 31 degrees, because these two are going to be congruent, angle D and angle C. And same way here I had angle E equals angle B. That's why I was able to write this way. Once you simplify, subtract 1 from both sides, you have half x equals 30, multiply by 2 to get x equals 60, and here add 3 on both sides to get 2y equals 132, dividing by 2 on both sides, y equals 66, which majority view had. Okay, so these two were the values for x and y. Let's see the next slide. To end today's class, we have couple of proofs. I'm going to write the statements and you're going to write all the reasons. Okay, use your chat and try to write all the reasons as and when I write the statements for this particular proof. This is a proof of third angle theorem, which is listed in the next slide. We will discuss that third angle theorem. What does third angle theorem say? It says that if I have two congruent angles of triangles, then the third angle will be congruent. I have this particular Q is congruent to B, R is congruent to C, then angle P will be congruent to angle A. We are trying to prove that, so let's prove. First we have angle R. First step I'm just writing reason. From second step I want you all to write reasons via chat. Second one, list out the reasons for each of them. Just going to take a look at the chat. So this was triangle sum theorem was the reason for this. Same way for the third step also the reason is triangle sum theorem. I'm not writing once more, and for this one I just use subtraction property. I subtracted B and C, subtraction property of equality, or I'll just write subtraction property. Same way here as well, I am subtracting Q and R from this particular. I had angle P plus Q plus R equals 180. I am subtracting angle Q and angle R from both the sides to get fifth equation. So this is also subtraction property. And here I am substituting Q equals B and R equals C. We already have Q equals P, R equals C. I am substituting that. So it's a substitution property. Next step, once again I am substituting here. I already had angle A equals 180 degree minus angle B minus angle C. Angle P equals 180 degree minus angle B minus angle C. Comparing angle 4 and 6, I can substitute and get angle P equals angle A. So this is also substitution property itself. And finally, this is definition of angle congruence. Whenever two angles are equal, they will be congruent. I'm just writing DEFN instead of writing complete definition. Definition of angle congruence. Okay. Let's see the next slide. That's what we discussed. The third angle theorem says that if two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of the another triangle, then the third angles are also congruent. That doesn't mean that whenever we have three angles congruent in a triangle to three angles of the other triangle, that doesn't mean that the whole triangle is congruent. It just means that the third angle is congruent. Okay. The third angle says that only the third angle is congruent. Note this one, very important. And the other properties that we studied for side length and angle congruence will also hold good for triangle congruence. So if two angles, we can say that each triangle is congruent to itself by reflexive property. And by symmetric property of congruent triangles, I can say that if triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ, then triangle XYZ is congruent to triangle ABC. By transitive property of congruent triangles, I can say that if triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ and triangle XYZ is congruent to triangle PQR, then triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR. So these congruence, this reflexive symmetric property and transitive will work even in case of congruent triangles. Okay. Let's see the last slide. We have a proof and then I'll give you time to work asynchronously. So this is one of the proof. I will list out the statements once again, and I want you all to try to list all the reasons correctly. Okay. We have been given AB is congruent to CD and AB is parallel to CD and AD is congruent to BC, comma AD is parallel to BC. What does that mean? It means that these two lines are parallel. AB is parallel to DC and also AD is parallel to BC. Okay, these are the things which are given. The next step, I will say that BD is congruent to BD itself. You give the reason for this. Then the third step, this is little challenging proof, but I will write the angles which are congruent and you can try to think and write what is the reason via chat. So I have angle ABD congruent to angle BDC. Okay, before we move further, I just want you to tell the reason for these two steps. Then I will just write the next step. This is reflexive property. Reflexive property of congruent sides. I'm not writing completely, but you can make out reflexive property of congruent side. You're speaking about the same side, BD and BD. So that's where we have reflexive property. And for this one, ABD and BDC. ABD and BDC. I see alternate interior angle, that's absolutely right. But alternate interior angle theorem, we will say that alternate interior angles are congruent. So it's just mention alternate interior angle theorem. We had these two lines parallel. So therefore angle ABD and angle BDC will form an alternate interior. This will act like a parallel lines and this BD will act like a transversal, and these two are alternate interior. So alternate interior angle theorem. Same way I can say that these two are also congruent by alternate interior angle theorem, because they have given us these two are parallel lines. So just tilt the figure and see that these two are parallel line. BD will act as a transversal. I'll have ADB congruent to DBC. ADB congruent to DBC. Same reason, alternate interior angle theorem. So I'm not writing, so I'm just using this mark to indicate this is the same reason. Okay, we need one more angle so that we can tell that the triangles are congruent. The last angle is angle A is congruent to angle C. I'll just write angle A is congruent to angle C. And what is the reason for this? If you know the answer, you can raise hand or you can use the chat. So by third angle theorem, we have angle A is congruent to angle C. And final step is by definition of congruent triangle. ABD and DCB are congruent. Triangle ABD congruent to triangle DCB. Definition of congruent triangles. Definition of congruent triangle states that if all the corresponding sides and angles are congruent, then the triangles are congruent. So we had three congruent pairs of sides and angles which are congruent. Therefore, we have these two triangles to be congruent. So you have rest of the class.